Okay, we should be going live. Check, and looks like YouTube is spinning up, and so is Rumble, maybe. There we go. On YouTube. So, everything looks to be good. So, covering frauded Wrangler. Frauded Wrangler. Wrangle the fraudeds. I gotta say, it is pretty cool that frauded Wrangler, he has got himself a new Twitter page. Look at that. Nothing circles. So, while that's loading, let's get started.
Good afternoon, Roughnecks. Wrangler here. And today we're going to be taking a look at our favorite little man girdle car bra needing little ignorant criminal from upstate in New York.
Ignorant and
Long
criminal.
Island audits. Which I really start to think that LIA doesn't mean Long Island audits. I think that he's liar. But I digress. Anyway, if you're unfamiliar with who Sean Paul
doesn't know how to spell liar
as his first and last name, my guess is so that when he gets called up.
Finally loaded. Look at that. It's so great. Frauded Wrangler has a new webs than my stuff. Man. And he's got that pride. I love that military pride. Anyways.
Jurisdiction, they don't really come up with anything. Because I guess he doesn't want to go to all these different jurisdictions out of state, being a convicted felon, and, get into more trouble. Because, felons are not.
What is felony? Like, I know you lose your right to a gun, but where does it say you lose your right to First Amendment, all that shit? I mean, is he in jail? Is he on probation? Do you know? Or you just want to focus on the fact that some judge found him guilty of one of the fucking laws out there? Like, you think this is criminal? Going to a public building to try to document what's going on, where and why and how is now a crime.
And society as actual good moral people. And
what does it have to do with who he is now? People can't change. There's no redemption. I mean, are you a religious person? Have you ever Googled this? The action of saving or being saved from sin or evil. Do you know why God has, or the Bible has, redemption? I mean, why? Why would Jesus save any of you?
This is what he looks like.
Oh, and that matters. You know why?
And yes, that is a solid C cup.
Yeah. What does that have to do with anything? So, that?
Yes, it is. This is somebody who knows less about the law.
Well, just because you're fat and undemand fitness, that's the nature of a logical fallacy. I mean, teachers don't engineer. Does that mean what? What does that mean?
And okay, I guess he's in shape to the extent that round is a shape. I mean, the first
Ha 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 ha. That was so funny.
person I've seen with a cup size like that is
You know, with you showing all these man boobs, you're men's United States Air Force makes
his little buddy Josh Abrams. Wow, look at that. Ain't he sexy, girls? But sad to note,
Why are you talking? According to you, there is. You just can't fucking use it nowhere. Can't use it. Town hall, police station, the library, the post office. None of those places. It's all time, manner, and place restricted. Wouldn't happen. Have you ever read the First Amendment? Let's read it for you. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion. What does that mean, Englishman? Why I love my dial-up internet. The activism or being established to set up an organization system or Congress shall make no law with reference or regard to any permanent blah 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 of religion, okay, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So again, or abridging the freedom of speech. What does that mean, abridging? Shorten a piece of writing without losing the sense. Bridge. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the right of the people to peaceably and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So what allows all these time, place, manner restrictions with determination of what, I mean, obviously if they can choose whatever form they want, there is no public forum. You don't even get public forum on the internet anymore. And, you know, I've followed internet was. I was hacking, you know, right when it used to be all bulletin board systems and stuff like that, about the guy who actually designed TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol, and Internet. Actually, TCP/IP is not a suite of communications protocols. It's variation layer and all that stuff. Actually has nothing to do with TCP/IP. Can contain all that stuff in there. But for the most part, the easiest way to think of is it's a data structure like Ethernet or USB. And so have the, like, so when you plug in to a physical switch, it's literally the wire layer. That's the MAC address. And inside the MAC, you'll have most likely either the TCP packet or the P. TCP means Transmit Control Protocol. UDP means UNIP ensures that the packet was delivered and that it was delivered properly, so none of the data got mangled. It's got a header, that's where it's going, and then at the end, it doesn't show it here, but it has a check, it's all there. And if you don't use this computer that receives the message won't send a message back, hey, I got that message, and if it gets it or not, it doesn't matter. With that, efficient, like on crappy networks. And, I mean, I literally searched for data, TCP datagram or packet. And what that datagram has is, this is the protocol to work. Wow. Okay. So see, this is that control protocol. So that, oh sweet, oh sweet. This is showing host A, the internet works, and I don't even know why I got
That
off on
he
that.
too is off the market. Thank Christ. But let's get into this.
Oh, I know why I got into that. The entire internet protocol was created as a freedom of speech mechanism. The internet is actually very difficult to control and regulate because it's just a bunch of interconnected networks. And you can talk about maybe controlling the dynamic name system or the DNS system, but I mean that doesn't even really work because of what the DNS really is. I mean they have like root name servers and like um, you could try to control the DNS or the whole internet with the root name servers. But what's really going to happen there is you're just going to fragment. Because no one controls all of it, or really any part of it. Um,
This is him playing at a Department of Health and Human Services in New Jersey.
so it is a state agency, right? And the government serves the people, right? They're accountable to the people, right? I mean, wasn't most of these positions supposed to be elected? Except for nowadays, there'd have to be like freaking 2000 elections, so they don't do that because people aren't going to vote for 2000 people. So now everything's administrative. Have you ever looked up, like, what is due process? Right? And then, like, what's the difference between substantive and procedural? Like, what the difference is? Substantive due process asks the question of whether the government's deprivation of a person's life, liberty, or property is justified by a sufficient purpose. Procedural due process, by contrast, asks whether the government has followed the proper procedures when it takes away life, liberty, or property. So, what's being taken away is liberty to go into that building and record. And according to you, any asshole that works there apparently can put up a sign that says no recording, you have to show ID, blah 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 blah, all these different rules. She could put the sign up and that makes it policy or whatever. But then we go back to substantive due process, right? So is it justified by a sufficient purpose, right? Do they have a sufficient reason? And then on top of that, you have procedural due process, which means have they followed the proper procedure? So what the auditor is trying to say is, sure, maybe you can change what kind of forum this is, but you can't do it administratively. It has to go through the legislative process.